Good to go. Okay. Um, yeah, just like typically being able to look back on the tape of the game. There was some really good things. I told our team yesterday, I thought it was a competitive football game. Yeah, we came up short, and we're definitely trying to win every game we play in. But at the same time, don't want to lose sight of the appreciation of how good a football game that was, and going back and forth and playing competitive and making a couple plays and having to respond. And they made some plays, and that's what we signed up for here. I mean, this conference, Division I college football, you want to play in these games and compete. And I did appreciate some of the efforts of guys that have needed to step up. We've had to use some depth at current positions. I thought our quarterback took a huge step from game one to game two, played really well in a lot of ways, improved. I look at our receiver depth. We had our top couple of guys down, with Bradford and Champ. And then, Trey Sean getting his first opportunity and making a couple of plays in his first game. Beeson continues to grow, made some plays. And so we've got guys that I think are showing some of our depth that we've built over the last couple of years. And that's been important. I look at it defensively, and some of the situational defense we've been able to play really this whole year. It shows huge strides of what we're trying to build around here. And so I even started just thinking to myself after watching Stanford is like, okay, we just played 6 games. One of the only teams to be able to say that. And, knowing so much about our roster now and seeing guys grow and how competitive we've been in every game. And again, we're not just trying to be competitive, but we are trying to win the game, but appreciate the growth and the effort that these guys have put in over this season of so much turmoil, of uncertainty, of extra protocols and doing things right, making great choices throughout the week, the whole thing. These guys have been doing just doing awesome with giving great effort to be able to get to the game, let alone compete and win the game. So it leads to another opportunity office this week that we're excited to be able to play at home again with a great team at Arizona State. I know we're going to get asked, I think injury-wise, the only guy that will not play this weekend is Avery Roberts that got banged in the previous game, so he will not be available. Other guys that got a couple bumps, bruises, we're going to kind of have to see throughout the week, but for certain, Avery will not play, which is disappointing because he's had an unbelievable year, been so productive for us, making a bunch of tackles. But with Doug and Jack stepping in, I feel confident we'll get some good inside linebacker play this week. Arizona State got a bunch of talent, obviously a huge win for them last week. Another beautiful game last year against these guys at our place, back and forth, could have gone either way. Obviously last year came out on top, and I just know that this team, Arizona State, will come in here ready to play and play with some energy, and we're going to have to be able to match that. We're looking forward to it. Questions?
With Roberts, is his a long-term thing, or just it happens to be 1 week left in the year and he just can't go?
It would be a couple months. He's going to need to get surgery, but we're hopeful he'll be back for spring ball.
Oh, did he break something, or?
Yeah, his arm.
Oh, that's too bad. Was Jefferson even able to practice yesterday, or?
We did not practice yesterday, but we feel like he'll be able to go on Tuesday.
Okay.
Or tomorrow.
Are there any seniors that for sure will be playing their last game on Saturday?
We're beginning to have some of those conversations. I think guys are going to look out some information, take a little time to make this decision. We've asked them, like, let's play this year. They got time to make that call. And so currently, no, I don't know which way guys are leaning.
Has there been anyone that's talked about eligibility for next year, knowing that, that they're getting that extra season as far as redshirting or anything like that goes?
I think they're very aware that they get the extra season eligibility wise. And that's what I'm back to. Again, this roster could entirely come back next year, along with additions that we'll make on Wednesday that we're excited about. And I go back to, again, feeling really confident about knowing this roster, where we're headed, the growth that's taken place, the improvement. Really fired up for 2021.
Is there a recruiting element in there from you and your staff as you're working with the guys, kind of saying, hey, we'll hope to see you next year, that kind of thing?
Oh, yeah. They know we welcome them back. At the same time, I want these guys making the best decisions for themselves. I mean, I look at this senior class, like half of them already graduated, and the rest of them are like to graduate in this term. And so there's a lot of things to think about when they make these decisions.
UCLA and Oregon State are the only two schools that could play all 7 games. Luck, I'm sure, has something to do with that. But what have you guys been able to do to, what's some example or two of guys, just staying out of harm's way and being able to, answer the bell every weekend?
Yeah, I think it starts with our leadership on this team. I even go back to, I think it was before our first game, a captains get up in front of this team and ask them for the extent of this season of making choices that really, choices you make affect more than just yourself and the others around you. And I go back to, again, these leaders voicing that early, continue to follow through with it. There's no question we had some good fortune. I mean, no one's got this thing solved in regards to contact tracing and how you get it and whatnot. But I think it boils down to leadership on this team, the decisions these players have been making.
All these Pac-12 universities, you're all tier 1 research universities, but does it make any difference when the guy that's chairing the conference's medical advisory committee and Dr. Ackerman is your guys' guy and he's right there if you ever needed him for anything this year? And did you need him for anything this season when things came up?
Without question, he's been huge for us and the conference. Weighed on him heavily weekly. I remember it was daily leading into the season, fall camp, double check and triple check in our processes. We made changes to our processes as we went along, as he got more information, gave us advice. So he was definitely huge in us being able to play 6.
You mentioned this a little bit Saturday, but takeaways, they still seem to be a problem creating them. The games you've won, you're getting takeaways. The games you're losing, you're not getting any. Is it just come down to putting pressure on the quarterback and getting some heat on him to get interceptions? Or are you just not finishing the plays, or what's
We've got opportunities. I go back to this game. I mean, the quarterback puts the ball ground twice in the pocket. We don't come up with it. Dropped an interception. Shawnee's got a great chance. Guy's running a slam, makes a great break on the ball, has an opportunity to pick it, and we don't finish that one. That wouldn't have been an easy play, but that's how you're going to get it. You got to make a couple plays to get a turnover. I mean, Anjay has a huge effort, right? The ball's tipped, coming down. He's got an opportunity to take it away right there, and so it's not a lack of effort. And again, credit to Stanford. That team's not just giving the ball away left and right. You got to go take it away. And so, we're going to keep on working and hope to get an opportunity on Saturday to take the ball away.
Oladapo is quietly having a good season. Was he somebody you saw on your radar, earlier on this year?
I think he's a great example of what I'm talking about in regards to our depth. The guy's improving, buying in, continuing to work. This guy is, he played a little in teams last year, not much on defense. He stepped in huge. David being down, earned a couple of reps, and he's played well to continue those reps. And so excited about his future. You're talking about a kid who's a sophomore right now. So 21, he's going to be a sophomore again. And he's physical. He's had some physical tackles. Did have the targeting, which we cleaned up after UW. He's a tall kid, so he's got to hit a little bit lower. And again, he's improving.
Coach, I've heard from a couple sources that Colby Taylor may have medically retired. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, he talked to Colby yesterday, and just really appreciate that guy. I mean, you talk about going through a coaching change, putting his body on the line, making huge plays for us, already graduated. I mean, he did everything first class. He just got to the point with regards to his body emotionally. He's put so much into it that he didn't have any gas left in the tank. And so understood it, and we'll definitely miss him because he was a big-time contributor for us. But appreciate what he's done for our program.
The tight ends the last couple weeks, I'm not saying they've disappeared, but since Nolan's been quarterback, they really haven't. There haven't been many targets. So is there something going on there, or is it just a
I don't think they've got some side relationship with Tristan or anything that they're buddy. Some of it's the game plan. Those guys I thought they played really well actually in the game, in the run game, because what Stanford was doing defensively put the challenge on the tight end, Tegan and Luke. So maybe the catch count isn't as high. At the same time, defensive coordinators see touchdowns coming from the tight end position. There's going to be an emphasis to take that away.
Anything different with Zach Hill's offense than what Arizona State had a year ago?
Yeah, there's always, differences. Again, creative, innovative. They got a big time quarterback that can beat you in multiple ways. Zach's done a great job for a long time. I know Zach well. Respected what he did all the way back to Eastern Washington, let alone at Boise. So I'm sure he'll have some stuff for us.
Talking to some coaches around not just football, but a variety of sports, I've been hearing that during COVID time, there's some things that you guys have liked as coaches that you can bring with you into next season from the standpoint of like things that coronavirus has forced you to do, right? Like, smaller position groups or things like that. What are some things that you guys have had to adjust that you have liked that you might bring with you into how you game plan, how you practice, how you prepare next season and years to come?
Yeah. I think we'll definitely take a long look at that when the season ends. And we always make notes of what we liked and don't like. Right off the top of my head, I mean, the ability to Zoom is something that the convenience is huge when you want to get face-to-face with a larger group when location can be tough. I look at the lead up into even training camp and the season of how we'd approached that. From the physical standpoint, how much they're running, we eased into it. And I think our soft tissue injuries are down. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but it feels that way. So those are two things off the top of my head, but I know we'll definitely digest it at the end of the year.
Earlier this morning, the NCAA said that there's not necessarily going to be a bowl season so much as teams, if they want to, can schedule some type of makeup game during bowl season. Are you guys considering that, given what this season has sort of been? And also, if there is a team or two out there that you have wanted to play or would like to play, who might they be? And would there be someone you guys might want to put on the schedule?
Yeah. The conversations I have been in, I haven't been a part of those conversations. Our focus is that we got an opportunity this Saturday. Players on the state been approaching that the last 2 days, and we'll go from there.
Do you, some of the coaches and teams across the country have expressed that their teams have had some, I guess, corona fatigue. Do you see that setting in with your players? Just as far as like all the stuff.
I have, and there's no question. I mean, that's why I go back to. I credit these guys of the day to day. I mean, shoot, there's 3 of them walking right here. They got their masks on. They're walking a little bit of a distance to each other. It's like every moment of the day, you're putting your best foot forward so you can play a game on Saturday. And so it's been hard. It's not easy. It's different. But again, I go back to we've played 6, and a lot of that's because of the efforts of our players.
I want to ask about Jack Coletto. Stanford couldn't stop him Saturday, and I'm just wondering, when you get a guy like that they just cannot stop, is it hard sometimes just to go, we're going to ride this horse to the finish?
I know you got to talk to Brian, man. Like, come on, this guy's so efficient. Every time he touches the ball, he gets first downs. Like, let's give him the ball a little bit more. No, Jack does a great job. I think I've said this before. When he comes in the game, that offense does get excited. 99% of the time, we're just trying to make it physical and run the ball. And so I think our guys believe in it. We totally trust Jack. He's been awesome with it, and I don't see it changing.
I would just wonder, as a play caller yourself, when you see something like that, is it hard sometimes to keep reminding yourself, let's just keep going to that until they show they can stop it?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Brian did a great job. We ran one scheme with Jack on a particular series, got the first down, and he didn't wait to call it again until he called it within the same series. Oftentimes, you're not calling the same play twice in the same series possession. Didn't allow him to make any kind of adjustments and called it twice. And so, yeah, it's part of the package that we'll continue to implement.
Coach,
You kind of mentioned the
do you have any
exhaustion that
insight
this
as
has been.
to, do you have any insight as to the home game? You get a number of home games this year, and in this situation, you get another one. Do you have any insight, or just happy that you got it?
Yeah, I don't know how that all played out exactly. Just heard the news that we're going to play at home again, and I know our guys like playing in Research Stadium, and we'll take it.
I know you just mentioned, your fatigue that you yourself are kind of facing right now. I mean, how much more is it on your shoulders as a head coach when it's not just preparing for opponents and doing the things that you do in a normal season? Now you have all of the other stuff on top of that. I mean, how are you doing? How have you been doing this season?
Yeah, well, look, I've enjoyed it. It's what we signed up for. I do. I like being around our team, our coaches on the day to day. I think it's similar like you get in the middle of the season and it's mid-season healthy on the body, right? There's going to be some bumps, bruises. You're going to have a little fatigue, but you're going to continue to work and enjoy the time around each other. So I describe it as fatigued. And just like you're playing a game in the fourth quarter, you're going to have a little fatigue, but you get to continue to play and try to find a way to finish. And that's what we're doing this week.
I don't know if you have an answer to this one, but San Jose State's got like 8 or 9 former Beaver coaches or players on there. Do you know many of those guys? And
Yep, I know. Yeah. What are you asking?
Have you noticed what they've been doing down there? And
Brent Brennan has done a phenomenal job. Eric Williams, I played with, DB coach over there. I know those guys better than probably the rest of them. But that's been a fun story to follow. Those guys winning a bunch of games, and I think they're playing the championship game against Boise. Just credit to those. And you talk about doing it the right way. Those guys have. It worked. Took over a program that was not in a great place, right, and just continued to build and built some momentum and done it right and got players to play at a higher level. And so credit to those guys. It's been fun to follow them.
With Trayshawn Harrison, how much credit do you give him for, not having played a game in probably over a year and coming out and being really sharp and staying sharp throughout the whole season of practice?
Yeah, a lot, because it's hard to stay focused when you know you're not going to play on a Saturday. And so I'll go back to fall camp and even the practices throughout the season, putting in the work, the meetings, all the demands that we ask of these guys through the season, and then not for him to not know that he's not going to play. He's really improved his game, bought into the playbook, and he was ready, and we needed him. So I credit that guy. I feel like the whole receiver room, for that matter, headed by Fence. I said it after the game. I think he does a great job with that group. We've got contributors in so many ways at the receiver end. We talked about it. We were going to need kind of a group effort out of them, different than last year. We had with Hodge, one guy getting a lot of the balls, and we needed everybody, and we've gotten everybody. Okay, guys.
All right.